Bonjour, c'est Cerulean. Aussi s'appelle Lawrence Warner. J'ai retourné de my vacation en France with my smartphone, which I didn't use. Turning it back on. I don't even need to pop the SIM card out this month because I went without a phone for the last week. Stick around to find out why I think it's the best way to vacay and also about what I got up to with all my free time.
First week of the month if you want me. Call me on my burner. Couple flip phones. Yeah, nice little learner. Too much from you on the gram. Fam, I'll burn ya. Wish we flip like a burner. I'll spit fire bars and I'll burn ya. Let me paint you a picture.
To explain why smartphone free is the best way to vacay, let's have a look at my usual in England screen time. 4 hours average a day. A lot of messaging, web browsing, and then some podcasts, filming, and then bam, you're off. That's literally Sunday from the day before we left. Actually, the first 2 days we went via Paris, took the Eurostar to Paris with Ben, and then internal training to Caen. Because I had the run on Sunday. I was doing the Pegasus Bridge half marathon in honor of my granddad, the last guardsman standing. But then after that, switched it off, chucked it in the suitcase, and all the way through to today. Back on today with those first 2 minutes. We're in the settings app here in screen time. Just to explain that. Why is that good? I mean, firstly, it freed up 4.5 hours a day, right? That's the first thing to note. You can do loads of cool stuff with that. Potentially up to, you might do more on your laptop. As usual, I was trying to limit my iPad to an hour a day on FirstWeek. You hope you're reclaiming, at least 3 hours a day to do other stuff. And I'm going to tell you about what those books that I read and albums I listened to in a minute. It's just more generally, you can just really zone in on being with the people you're with, and that, for my case, is my family. And that brings me on to my next point, which is you can't smartphone detox alone. Now, even if this also goes for if you flip your phone, replace to a Punkt or as I've been doing this year, or a light phone as I did the previous year, or a flip phone as I did the previous 3 years. You're going to lose some of those features, those useful tools in the Swiss Army knife that is your smartphone. So you're going to need people around you to cover you on those. And in my case, surrounded by 3 brothers, my dad, his mate Eddie. My buddies Abhishek and Bhargav couldn't make it out, unfortunately, from back in the FirstWeek flip phone days. Have friends and family around who will be able to do those things. Dad's driving, he's navigating. Ben is looking up things if we need to map something, or look up all those useful facts that I was arguing about with Eddie, given that I'm going on a BBC game show later this month. Newsflash. I think it was cool having this to record little snippets of which I'm recording on right now. Little snippets of music. I was playing on the little Yamaha keyboard. Didn't have my usual one. It was fun playing with all the different sounds on that. I did a cover of LSU's song from back in 2013, which was fun. Overall, go for it. If you're going on vacay, try and make the most opportunity of a simpler life. Go with awesome people. Alright, onwards to my creative week. Let's get the phone in.
Cave, social sex. Let's laugh at Jack saying he loves that angry mob of twits who are bitter, changing the world on a shitter. Fringe show, runt of the litter. Cave, social vida. Cave, social.
Hi guys, what have I been listening to? Well, because it's the album coming out on Wednesday the 22nd of June, I have been listening to The Divided Selfie LP, named after R.D. Laing's The Divided Self. I just thought I'd show you guys this page, which is on the website. If you click on the alter ego button on the homepage, you can kind of see where these are the quotes that gel together the two sides of the concept album, A Cerulean and Beastly, and these are the quotes. It's all taken from this passage of this page, direct quotes. So I'm really proud of it as a concept album, basically exploring the idea of different ways of looking at the same person. I'm really excited for it to come out, and I hope you will enjoy listening to it. Because I was off the smartphone, I wasn't listening to a ton. My Bandcamp albums of the week were just singles. It was Phoebe Bridges' new track for Conversations with Friends, which is called Sidelines. It's available on Bandcamp. And Romany Imanor's Love. Is it Love Again, I think? I've already spoken about Romany's on the London Was a Vibe release live stream. You know, it's a first single, it's a first effort. She's working on her vocals, but she's a great songwriter, and I hope that she'll continue to explore her vocals. But Phoebe Bridges, I mean, she's been working on her vocals, as it says in her Bandcamp profile. Through her adolescence, she was sneaking into the same bars me and Young Era played in, and was just bringing audiences to tears by all accounts. So yeah, Sidelines is a cracking track. I don't quite understand the meaning of the song though, Phoebe. Is it that you're not afraid of dying and all of these things? You've gained that detachment that the Buddhists strive towards because of finding the love with the person? Or did you used to not be, but now you've got something to lose and now you care? That was the only thing I didn't really fully get what the before and after was. With regards to like finding this lover. So that was where, for me, songwriting could have been a little clearer, lyric structure wise. But other than that, a cracking track, what can I say, sonically? And it still hits, the emotion really hits. It's definitely a letting go track of some sort. Right, onwards to books. 4,000 Weeks is my main book to frame all of this discussion about smartphone-less living. As you can tell, it looks like a self-help book. It's a time management book, but this is very different from your Tim Ferriss 4-hour work week, from your, Pomodoro, anything Pomodoro. This is very different. If you look at the judge a book by its cover, you've got celebs weighing in, but you've got writers, you got thinkers like Adam Grant, you've got a lot of writers. And then it's this guy, basically, he's a Cambridge graduate. Mark Manson is amazing. Even I got Young Era reading Everything is Fucked by him, and he's loving it. Reality Check. And it is because basically, it's a mix of some of these guys' books. I think it's like Cal Newport's sort of backlash against smartphone addiction with like Mark Manson's kind of love for philosophy. So basically it's kind of like a lot of calling on different philosophers, be it like Schopenhauer, be it Heidegger, who have basically spoken about, the bare facts of life, the 4,000 weeks that we mortals are limited to before death. So it's pretty emo book confronting death and basically what that means. And for him, it's backlashing against productivity geekism, but then it's also embracing digital Sabbaths, like he's mentioned. But ironically, this Financial Times people finished in one sitting, which I just don't think is a great way of using, some of your 4,000 weeks. But I'm working my way through it more slowly. The impatience spiral I'm up to, so I'm trying to show patience with that. But no, it's a great one to read a chapter and then go and try and live it out. I would really recommend this book. And then in terms of putting that into action, read good books, right? Like I read Meg Mason's Sorrow and Bliss because it was the Waterstones buy one get one half price and book of the month, meaning that you buy two of these, you get one £8, one £4, that's 12 quid, and then you get two for each of them, one of these free hot drinks, which are worth £3. So essentially, if you're gonna get hot drinks anyway, you're essentially buying a book for £3 each. So it's great. But not all books are equal, right? Meg Mason's Sorrow and Bliss, which I don't have because I actually finished it in a few days, is a really, really well-written, piece. Gives amazing insight into, female life, but in particular, someone who, well, two things. Firstly, struggles with mental illness. Secondly, can't have the baby that they truly desire. So it gave a lot of insight into that. Now, it's interesting to pair it with this, which is Saima Mir's The Khan, which is like really revolutionary because it's a Bradford Muslim writer writing a very Western style novel, like a crime novel, but in very culturally specific way to their community. And this is similar themes I've explored. Like Small Town Dreamer is like rediscovering culture in your community. That said, and I love it for all of that, and I love it for, like they say here, hints of The Godfather. The Godfather retold as a feminist tale, Bradford take on The Godfather. That's all true, and that is amazing in itself, and that is a massive achievement. But compare it to Meg Mason, it's not, the quality of the writing isn't there. Unfortunately, it lingers on cliche. I want to find a couple of examples of these. It's metaphor, not similes all the time, and it's really hard to read because you're never really sure what is real and what is like poetry, if that makes sense. So I will try and find a good example of this. Yeah, here we go. So like mourners. So it's the funeral of of the father figure, which happens way too late on in the book, given that like it's obvious that it happens. And it's like it's revealed really unclearly because it comes off the back of another flashback, so it's a bit confusing when it happens. But yeah, I think it's here. Yeah, exactly. So father's death comes at 114 pages out of 318, and it's touted on the blurb. That's over a third of the way through, and it's straight after this flashback about a brother's death. So it's really confusing. Then we eventually get to the funeral at page 178, and here's a passage. It's quite typical. Mourners filed past, paying their respects, their feet splashing mud from the water-soaked ground, leaving dark stains across her shawl and camise and her soul, stains that would never be cleansed. I mean, I get she's going for effect, and I don't know if it's specific to the community and like if this sort of writing works well in Urdu, but like for me it's a little bit dramatic, and her shawl and camise and her soul. So it's like you got this sudden switch from like, and the way I would put it is from like the prosaic to the metaphorical. It's quite jarring. For me, it's quite a religious thing where you're suddenly switching from, the profane to the sacred, as Durkheim would put it. Versus like for me, frankly, a better writer of crime. I'm not saying it's better storytelling, but it's a better writer. Raymond Chandler, he's like boring blokes in LA. And then some sublime metaphor like, simile specifically. He always uses like. So he'll say, he crawled along. That a man is smoking a cigarette and he's hugging a wall like a fly with one wing, something like that. And it's very clear that we're explaining something really mundane with something beautiful, or like, elegant. So yeah, I think that's my thing with this, and but I really think this is like a trailblazer book because it's like a cracking piece of like blend of cultures, and it's it's getting adapted for BBC Studio. Like this is so original, storytelling wise. So well done, Saima Mir, for a debut, and a bit like I say to Romany, like keep working on the craft. Ironically, I will now want to switch to someone who is all writerly brilliance but no storytelling interest, which is David Lodge, Small World. And like this is kind of like the old, this is old English novel writing, 1984 Booker Prize nominee, wouldn't have a chance today. Very white, man. But honestly, in the vein of old 4,000 Weeks, I'm not spending any more of my weeks on it. I'm 50 pages in and I'm out, because it's just kind of like, I know I've made a point of dropping loads of mad philosophical references today, but this guy is just on it. He's banging on about post-structuralism, and then again these sun-jarring switches to like quite sexist descriptions about like the one female character, Angelica Pabs. So it's like, will you marry me, Angelica, on page 39? Like, there's a bit of PG Woodhouse, but without the like, bit of PG Woodhouse kind of like cheekiness, but without kind of the actual what's the word I'm looking for? Adorableness. But then finally, a book that's a non-fiction book that's much more useful. Where do we go next for travels? Because I've got quite a digital nomad life, and I want to make the most of it, but also get away from this ridiculous cost of living crisis with like inflation over 10%. Pay off your student loans, people, if you can. I'm doing my best to gather other funds to do that, because RPI plus 3 is going to get ridiculous. If you want to be an artist today, you don't want to have that debt dragging on you. Canary Islands is where I want to go. It's literally half the cost of living. So if anyone wants to come out to Gran Canaria September, and then I might stick around October and November, let me know. We'll split rent on a place. It's going to be great. Come on, Gran Canaria, Las Palmas, let's go. That's it for today. Album out 22nd of this month, June. Please stream it. Wednesday the 22nd, divided selfie LP, 10 tracks, 5 on each side. It's going to be amazing. Please enjoy it, and roll the credits, for real.
We might spit 5 tweets, never read them. 4-3 tick-tock on the clock, cause we're back on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Burner 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're back on. First week of the month, if you want me, call me on my burner. Couple flip phones.